This is a story of a father,
and a son,
a loving father,
and a doting son,
It's also a story about faith,
and obedience.
Abraham.
and Isaac.
Hey Dad, what are we gonna do today? Play catch? I've been wanting to work on my grounders.
I thought we'd go camping.
Camping? Why?
Just a little trip through the mountains.
With the whole family?
Nope, just me and you, son. The boy was surprised.
An overnight camping trip with his dad would be great.
I think it's actually going to be a couple days.
How many days?
The Shrug. It was almost synonymous with the man himself.
That shrug was famous. It meant something important.
Mystery,
Adventure.
Suspense.
excitement.
Trouble.
Sarai,
What is it, Abram? I'm tired.
I'm taking you away from this place.
You're taking me out?
I'm taking you away.
Where are we going? You don't know? Well, how long will we be gone? What should I pack?
Everything? From that moment on, it seemed like every time Abraham shrugged, it meant God was up to something. You ready, son?
Ready, Dad. So, what do you want to talk about?
Talk?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about girls?
Do you want to talk about girls?
Well, there is this one girl at camp.
Well, everybody's got their own story about a girl at camp.
She's hot.
She's sick?
No, she's fine.
Oh, so you noticed.
Well, you know, she's getting her...
I know.
You know, she's getting her own baseball glove?
Oh, that. Yeah.
Anyways, I thought you might want to tell me some things.
What kind of things?
Oh, you know, Dad, the kinds of things that dads tell their sons on camping trips.
Things?
You know, Dad, the facts of life.
It's not that Abraham didn't want to talk to his son about sex. It's just that the term facts of life caught him off guard.
The fact was that he didn't have any facts on life. There was no science to it. Abraham walked in faith, and sometimes that was harder to explain than even sex.
Maybe that's why he shrugged so much.
So they walked in silence.
But this is not just a story about a father.
It is also a story about a son.
It's not just a story about faith.
It's also a story about obedience.
You see, Isaac was a good son.
Take, for example, the way he made his trip.
He didn't ask to stop every 30 minutes to pee.
Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom.
He didn't kick the back of the seat.
Repeatedly.
He didn't scream every time one of the other servants touched him.
Dad, Abdul's on my side of the camel.
And
he never asked.
Are we there yet?
Well, maybe once.
Finally, Abraham looked up in the distance and saw the great mountain, Moriah. He and the boy went on alone.
This looks like a good place to set up.
Do you want me to build a fire?
No, let's build an altar first.
An altar? What for?
A sacrifice.
But we didn't bring a sacrifice.
And then, something very, very important happened. In this moment, we learned something very important about Abraham. Not by what he did, but by what he didn't do.
He didn't shrug.
Confidently, he looked into his son's eyes and said,
God will provide the sacrifice.
That could have been the end of the story.
But the story is not just about a father
It's about a son.
It's about faith.
and obedience. If Isaac were to be a part of God's covenant with Abraham, he too would have to learn to walk in his father's footsteps. So, you want to have that talk then?
About girls?
Yeah.
And father and son sat on top of Mount Moriah and talked about the facts of life.
Not the facts of death.
You see, Abraham believed that his son would live. He had a faith, so he told Isaac what God had demanded of him. After the talking and the laughing and the crying had all died down,
Hold on now. Don't say that.
say what?
Died down.
Oh,
After the talking and the laughing and the crying, Abraham looked at his son and said,
are you ready? I need to bind your hands.
And Isaac obeyed.
"Honor your father and mother."
I need you to place yourself on the altar.
Isaac not only obeyed, he laid down on the altar face up.
Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. And then Abraham lifted the knife over the boy to slay his son.
And Isaac waited for the knife to fall.
That it might go well with you in the father's inheritance. And only then God said,
It is finished.
A father
and a son,
A loving father
and a doting son.
faith,
and obedience.
the
Two went hand in hand.
And when they had returned home to where Sarah was waiting, she said,
You guys were gone for so many days. What happened?
They looked at each other
And shrugged.